Alissa.
Hey, Katie.
Welcome to episode number 299.
We're almost there.
You're so close. Welcome to today's episode called
Get to Work.
Get to Work.
I think that's a good one.
Get back to work.
You know, we talk a lot about boundaries, self-care, vacations, taking a day off. All well and good.
Yeah, right.
But I think some of us out there may have taken it a little too far in the name of boundaries.
We don't want to enable you to just be loafing around.
Right. You do still have to work.
It is technically your job.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to actually produce some type of results in order to be paid.
Yes. And what is that saying? Like, make hay when
while the sun shines.
Make hay while the sun shines. Yes. Yeah. And so it's like there may be times where you are working more than usual. And then there are slower down times.
Yes.
But, you know, I think the market's tough right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting a lot of messages from discouraged agents out there. And I think it's important. First of all, Katie, I'm with you every week. And
that is correct.
Especially 2025 so far. I think it's important that they know that while we have boundaries, we work a lot.
I work so many hours.
A lot.
I probably work more than 40, although I like to pretend I don't.
Right. Yes. There's just a lot. Especially when the market is tough and tricky and you're putting out fires and you're overcoming obstacles and there's more to navigate and negotiate. More houses to see with your buyers because inventory's, you know, more abundant. More energy spent with marketing and communicating with your sellers because things aren't flying off the shelf and you actually have to work right now.
Yep.
Unlike the COVID years where the work was different. So I just think it's important that maybe today y'all need a good motivational kick in the pants.
Yeah, well, right. What does motivate you?
Well, in my notes for this episode, I even thought to myself, I also want to be really careful with using the word motivate.
Yeah.
Because it's not always sustainable. For example.
Sure.
I just went out of town and did a little speech and talked to a broker there.
Oh.
And I was asking her, this is a broker who does a lot of training, is really great with her agents. And she's been doing this for years and years and years.
Okay.
So I asked her, like, what do you notice the most in agent behavior, new agent behavior?
Oh, I'm dying to hear this.
And she was like, well, here's what I have noticed. She said, the main thing they lack is consistency.
Okay.
She said they go through spurts where maybe they listened to a podcast that day.
Let's do it.
Yes. Attended a conference.
Highly motivated.
Yes. I'm so excited. And then like she says, you know, they come in my office and they make these big declarations.
You're
like,
not going to believe it.
I'm going to do it this time. This time is different. But it fizzles so fast.
Yeah.
And she's like, then I don't see them for like 2 to 3 months in the office. And then they come back and they're like, yeah, this time it's different. I'm really going to use my email templates and my Trello and I'm going to get my systems in place. And like, I'm going to be here for all the meetings. And then they're really excited for like 2 weeks maybe. And then they're gone again. And I think it's very important that we are aware of our own tendencies.
Sure.
That we are aware of, are we actually working? You know, if you have nothing to do on a given weekday, okay, nothing to do, you could, as an agent, stay home.
Yeah.
Clean your house, tend the garden, go for a walk, do it. None of those things are bad. But you need to be careful because taking a day off during the week on a business day could cause the next day to be the same.
Okay.
And the day after that, and the day after that, unless you have an actual plan in place.
Right.
Hey there, are you looking for ways to save time and money in your business?
Email Templates 101 is the communication system you need to bring ease and efficiency to managing your transactions and clients.
Save time and avoid mistakes, all while providing a high level of service for your buyers and sellers.
In Email Templates 101, you'll get 13 downloadable buyer templates ready for your personal touches.
And 19 downloadable seller templates, plus 6 attachment checklists.
Head over to hustlehumblypodcast.com/courses to get yours today. You need to have a consistent routine, even though some of your days will be different. It's fine to break up your consistent routine for a work appointment.
Yes.
It is not okay to break up your consistent routine.
I'll allow it.
For a leisure activity.
Right.
Okay? Like, oh, I don't have any appointments today, so I'm really not working. That should never be your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
You should know personally, I think, you should know what your 2 days off are. They should probably be a weekday and they should probably be a weekend day. Unless you're not planning to work that weekend or you don't have anything scheduled, then those can be your days off and your weekdays should all be your work days.
I will say my weekends have been a little bit slower, so I have not been taking off a full day during the week.
You don't need
like
to.
I used to.
Right.
When I was slammed and working weekends, I always had a day during the week where I was like, I'm not leaving my house today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to treat it like a weekend day.
Yeah.
And it's important because when you get the momentum going, when you do attend a class, when you do go to the office and talk to people, it really does keep the momentum going. And consistency does not mean that you're working every single day without stopping.
No.
But you do have to create a sustainable pace.
Right.
Something you can keep up with.
Are you ready for an amazing James Clear quote about consistency?
Yeah.
You're going to love this.
He's our Atomic Habits author.
He says, in theory, consistency is about being disciplined, determined, and unwavering. In practice, consistency is about being adaptable. Don't have much time? Scale it down. Don't have much energy? Do the easy version. Find different ways to show up depending on the circumstances. Let your habits change shape to meet the demands of the day. Adaptability is the way of consistency.
Oh my gosh, that's really good.
Yeah. So in theory, consistency is about being disciplined and determined. We're going to do it every day. In practice, it is about being adaptable to what happens within your day, your life, your schedule.
I can remember years back, I had not kept up with my database throughout the year.
Okay.
Very well. So I was trying to get my Christmas cards mailed out, and I was really procrastinating opening my database and cleaning it out.
Because it was going to be a bigger project.
It was going to be a bigger project because I had neglected it throughout the year. And I thought, I need to just designate a day.
You're like,
every time I designated a day, something came up. So I just never did it. And I'm the type of person that's like, I need to sit down and finish a project. I heard someone say, see how much you can do in 10 minutes. And it's almost like it gave me permission.
Like, well, I'm not going to finish it.
Right.
Let's just do some.
Yes. I needed someone to name that for me so I could say, yeah, I could do that, and it became, if I had 10 minutes in carpool line, or if I had 10 minutes before a buyer showed up to an appointment, it was like, how many names on my spreadsheet can I get through?
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, 7 10-minute increments later, it was done.
Yeah. You didn't actually need a whole day.
I did not. But in my head, I just thought, I can't do it until all the conditions are perfect.
Yeah, so many people have that same mindset when it comes to work or any type of project or any type of I've got to make sure everything is just so, and I have all the time set aside and all the pieces and my desk is neat and everything's ready to go. It's just never going to be like that.
Right.
If you're willing to just do it in chunks and to do it in less substandard, if you will, then you'll get it done.
I also think we need to be cautious as agents that we're not using boundaries as an excuse not to work.
Right.
If you have nothing going on at all and you have a client that wants to see a house after work.
Right.
Go. Make money.
Go.
You should go.
You should revisit if this is a career for you. Like if you're not willing to work, when you are dead slow and someone wants to talk to you on the phone after 5,
take the call.
Maybe it's okay to take the call. What did you do all day?
Yeah.
Surely you had some time to yourself.
If you watch Netflix all day and now it is 5:30 p.m. and someone calls, you're like, oh, my boundaries say no calls after 5. It just doesn't work that way.
No.
Your boundaries and your work ethic can coexist.
For sure.
They need to live together. And as agents, our schedule is never going to be super strict and rigid.
No.
We have to be really good at humbling ourselves enough to be able to self-evaluate and say, did I work today?
Right.
What did I actually do?
Yeah.
Or, I've been doing a little more speaking lately. I guess spring conferences.
They must like to,
Yes.
They want to get motivated.
Yes. Everyone's looking for motivation.
Way to wrap that around.
And this pattern that I see is sometimes after I speak and people come up to chat or ask advice and I give them advice, they always have a reason or an excuse.
No, that's not going to work.
And I think, and I even told one, until you can help your mindset, I don't know that this is made for you.
Yeah.
I don't know if real estate is for you if you can't get your mindset to a place where we can hold ourselves accountable.
Right.
If nothing is ever your fault,
Yeah.
Well, I told my whole database I'm in real estate. They don't use me. I'm really involved at my church. They don't use me. I'm really involved at the kids' school. They don't use me. Nobody uses me. I'm not good at this. There's nothing I can do to help you with that.
Yeah.
I can give you advice, but if your mindset is not ready to receive it, there's just nothing that can be done. And this will lead to burnout.
Well, let's revisit the I'm not good at this comment.
Yeah.
Okay. We had, we were talking about someone who mentioned they didn't know how to do a home value.
Yeah.
Or like just saying, I'm not good at this.
Yeah.
Well, let's back it up a step. If you're reaching out to your database and telling them that you are in real estate and you're ready to help them, but you don't actually know how to do a buyer presentation or a listing presentation or a market value or any number, schedule an appointment or go to a closing and read a settlement statement. Like if you don't know the basics, you have no business asking for business. And that's why you feel like you don't have confidence.
Correct.
So then when you might even get a warm lead, how hard are you going to pursue that? You're nervous. You don't know what you're doing.
Right.
So you have to back it up. So what can you do to actually learn where you feel like, oh, I am good at this. I can do this. Now it's just a matter of getting the lead.
Yes.
Leads are not necessary when you're brand new.
The education component of it must come first.
Yeah.
Before you say, if you're looking to buy or sell, call me. You need to be able, Connie and my broker made us write the listing agreement line by line in layman's terms.
I think that's smart.
When I was brand new. It took forever, but I have never felt more comfortable getting a seller to sign a listing agreement. And in my mind, I was almost like, ask me a question.
I know all of it.
I know the answer.
I know where to find it.
I've never sold a house before, but if you have a question about the listing agreement, I am 100% confident.
Because there's nothing more unnerving than a client asking you a contractual question and you having to fumble through to find where. Well, I think that's in here somewhere.
Yeah, let me see where
that is. I don't know.
is.
But you had to learn because she made you do that. We all have so much opportunity to get educated, either from our broker or from our board or from the internet or from this podcast. Like there are a lot of places you can get free information and you should be doing that to the point where you feel like, I know exactly what I'm going to do when a buyer calls me.
Yeah.
I know how to get through the whole process. I know how to schedule showings. I know what to do when I'm at a showing. I know how to make an offer. I know how to negotiate. It's a lot. I understand it's a lot. But if you don't know any of it, what are you looking for a lead for?
Right.
What are you going to do once you have it?
It's like putting the cart before the horse happens so much.
So much.
In real estate because people need money.
Right.
They're like, I've quit my job.
Yeah.
I took 2 weeks, passed the exam. I need money now. I don't have time to go get trained and sit for hours.
Yeah.
And it's like there's so much that you can do to fill your time. And if a lead does come in before you're ready, you need to be prepared. Hopefully you are in a supportive office that will guide and direct you and teach you how to work it from beginning to end.
Right. I'm not saying you're not going to learn stuff on the job.
Sure.
Because we still learn stuff every day.
Every day.
Through experience. Mm-hmm. But there is a foundational level.
Oh, yeah.
Where there's a difference between being like, I'm clueless and I'm learning something nuanced later on.
Right. So before you spend money marketing a subdivision or, doing a mass call for,
even sending a bunch of stuff to your database.
Yeah. You need to make sure if someone responds.
What's
Are you
next?
prepared?
Yeah.
Are you prepared with those next steps?
Right. Are you excited and you know what to do?
And if not, I'm sure there's a class for that.
Yeah.
An agent you can talk to.
I mean, I took every class the board would offer. Mm-hmm. If it was about using the map function on the MLS, if it was about setting up a search, if it was about market CMAs, if it was about other types of reports you could get. I was just like, what do you have? I'll just show up. Yeah. Because in my mind, I was waking up every day and I had to do something real estate related or I wasn't actually working.
Correct.
And I quit my job. Like I didn't have another source of income. So I better be working. Mm-hmm. Or I was going to be in trouble.
Yeah. Example for you. The other day, I was asked to speak on a panel for an event. Well, I was the last part of the event. So I thought, great, I can just get there at 11 a.m. It's from 8:30 till 12:30. I'll just pop in at 10:30, do my part, leave. And then the day before I got an email that was like, if y'all could all be there at 8:15, that would be great. And I just thought, they want me there all day, Right. And to be honest, on this particular day, I didn't really have anything else I needed to do. Okay. I didn't have an appointment scheduled. Email can always be tended to, which was sort of my plan. I'll just work at a coffee shop till 11, go do this, go back. But I thought, fine, I haven't, I need to go. I left there so full. Okay. First of all, the content was really good.
Okay. So you listened to other presentations.
Yes. I had to listen to other presentations. Okay. We had the insurance commissioner come. Oh. And I took so many notes. Yeah. I actually called one of my clients after that's having an insurance struggle and said, listen, he just shared this, and this is what's going on. And this is going to be passed next month. And we need to show up at the Capitol and go vote. Da, da, da. I was just so... I wouldn't have known that. Yeah. And then I knew so many people there that I haven't seen in forever. Mm-hmm. And then I had 5 agents come and I'm like, Alissa! And I'm like, and they're like, we've been emailing about this property. And I'm like, oh okay. Yes, sorry.
You're like, help me out.
I haven't met you in person yet. Mm-hmm. And then afterwards, I got so many messages, on Instagram and Facebook, people were like, hey, it was so good to see you today. And I thought, man, I just left there feeling so fulfilled, ready to work, more knowledgeable. Even I go through that where I'm like, I don't really want to go to this. But when you go and when you show up, and you show up to take notes, you don't show up to sit in the back on your phone. Right. With a sour face on, it's amazing what it will do for your whole mindset.
Yeah. And we always talk about putting yourself in real estate situations. Mm-hmm. So being in your office, being at the board, being at something like that where you're hearing other speakers, it will give you some energy towards and some ideas usually.
So many good ideas I wrote down.
Yeah. So that's very important. Mm-hmm. There are a couple of episodes, if you're like, well, okay, fine, you're telling me to work all day, but what exactly does that mean besides going to learn? In episode number 17, what to do when you're new or slow, it is very much do these exact things. Right. Okay, so if you want an idea, there's that one. And then episode 135 is what to do when you don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. So, hey there, those are 2 good ones for you.
Those 2 episodes, if you have a notebook, it gives you endless amounts of things that you could do. So if you're struggling with your mindset, if you're feeling like you just don't know what to do with your day, it gives you so many good, free, practical tips of things to do. And the whole thing is, I keep thinking about that broker because I think she just verbalized so well what I've always thought about agents
Yeah.
is that when they're hyped, they're hyped.
Yeah.
When they're down,
They've disappeared.
yeah.
They're like in
totally.
hiding
Yes.
in all ways.
It is bizarre to me. And that's why I think having the momentum is so important. Like, that's why I like to start at the Monday morning meeting.
Yeah.
You know, before I was in my office, we have the Monday morning meeting and then we have the Wednesday morning sales meeting. And I was like, in my early days, those were my two things that got me out of the house.
Yeah.
If I can just get there for those, something always happens after.
Mm-hmm.
I'm either touring a house or I'll ask an agent in the office if they need help with anything.
Mm-hmm.
I was always looking for something to do. And more times than not, I didn't have to ask because someone would see me.
Hey, do you want to?
Yes. Yeah. Can you take this? Can you do that? And I was just like, wow, I have to be there. And then as I got busy, I sort of like dropped to the Wednesday but it's like I have to have that Monday.
The Monday is just setting you off on the course of this is a work week.
Yes.
I have shown up and put myself in a work mindset Monday morning.
And the thing is, if you have stopped showing up, the longer that you pause, the harder it's going to be to get started.
Yeah.
But if you take that first step,
that's all it takes.
Get started.
And then you just have to like make a promise to yourself or get an accountability partner.
Yeah.
Go with someone else. Be like, let's go every Monday to the meeting.
Yeah.
You motivate me. Just like when people get a partner to go to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing.
It's like you have to plan things so that you don't lose the flow.
Yeah. And you could make it fun. Be like, okay, we're going to be accountability partners. And every Monday at 9, we're going to meet at the coffee shop and reach out to our database for an hour.
Yeah.
Together.
What if I don't feel like it?
Right. Well, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to be like, you have to show up.
That's why I think having something like a Monday meeting, something that is standing,
right,
is like, so I get vacation blues really bad.
Mm-hmm.
When I come back from vacation, it's like a hard.
You're like, whoa.
I know. It takes me a minute to get back to real life because I love vacations so much. But knowing like, that meeting is standing. I need to go.
Yeah.
I need to get there. You know, it just really gives me something that I can check off of a list.
Yeah.
Regardless of how I feel.
Right.
Because a lot of times I don't feel like it.
Okay, but you go anyway.
Yeah.
That's good.
Unless I have an appointment.
You've basically made a promise to yourself.
Yeah.
You're like, I go to the Monday meeting.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I do.
Right.
I think that's good. Routines are crucial.
Well, routines will keep you in check when your motivation is gone.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Agents like to quote unquote work when they're motivated and excited and hyped up on caffeine.
Woohoo!
But when it comes time to do something you don't want to do, it's very easy to say, I don't have to do that. I'm my own boss. I don't have to do it today.
I don't have to.
I don't have to.
Right.
But next thing you know, you haven't worked in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's like, oh, open houses are never any good.
Right.
No one ever comes to my open houses.
No one. So I'm just never.
No one.
Connie says if you haven't gotten a paycheck in 3 months, you're unemployed.
You're unemployed.
Unemployed. You are actually not employed
She's
anymore.
not wrong.
Yeah.
I had another really good James Clear quote for you. This one back to your talking about, getting it all setting up and fixing your database all at one time and you do it perfect. Okay. He said, one of the simplest ways to win is to always connect the small things you do to the larger thing you hope to accomplish. 5 minutes can be spent working on something trivial or working on something life-changing. A brief session of work oriented toward a great cause is always time well spent. Most daily actions evaporate. Some accumulate.
Oh.
So like instead of being like, oh, I don't have time to fix my whole database, you were like, let me give 10 minutes to it. Well, at the end of whatever, a month or two, you had the whole thing fixed.
Mm-hmm.
So those little actions were accumulating.
Yes.
But if you just spent the 10 minutes scrolling, that would have been evaporating.
Yes. That is a great analogy.
Yeah.
That's time you can't get back.
No.
Nothing to show for it.
You can either do something that's going to accumulate. You could do 20 squats.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly.
Right.
You're like, I don't have time to work out. I hate working out. It's stupid. Okay, well, you could do 20 squats or you could scroll on your phone for 3 minutes.
Yeah. One, you'll have something to show for it. And one not.
Yeah. Our database template is the key to repeat and referral business, and it's free for you.
Your database is the foundation of successful business, and we want to help you get started.
Not sure who you would put on the list? Don't worry, we have ideas for you.
Grab your free database template and Who Do You Know list at hustlehumblypodcast.com/start here. I remember a few years ago, I went on a listing appointment, and it was a competing listing. They were interviewing, I think, 3 agents. And so the agent, when I got there, the lady was so kind, so nice. And at the end, everything went great. I thought, I've got this in the bag.
Right.
At the end, she's like, this just was so great. I'm like, I know. Just kidding. Just kidding.
You don't have to tell me.
But I was like, I don't know. I just felt like we really connected. The house was great. Good feedback. She loved ideas. Anyway, she's like, okay, I have to be honest with you, though. I have one concern. I'm like, okay. She said, one of the agents that I interviewed asked me who else I was interviewing. And I told her your name. Mm-hmm. And my heart sank. I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm friends with like everybody. You know?
Right. Like, do I have an enemy I don't know about?
What has happened? And she said, and I told, and she said, oh yeah, Alyssa's so great. But you do have to be careful because she has boundaries and you may not always be able to reach her in the evenings or the weekends.
What did the seller say? Like, was she like?
Well, she said, is that true? Am I going to have trouble reaching you? And I said, well, have you had trouble reaching me? We've been chatting, for like 2 weeks leading up to this appointment. Have I ever been non-responsive or difficult to communicate with? No. I said, okay, that's how I plan to keep it.
Yeah.
I said, now, if an offer comes in the evening, I'm very, very sensitive to deadlines.
Yeah.
I pick and choose what's urgent.
Right.
If it's non-urgent, I may call you at 9 a.m. the next morning. If it's an offer with a deadline, you're going to hear from me immediately, like as soon as I can.
Right.
And she's like, well, that makes sense, And I'm like, your job that you work, do you have boundaries? She's like, well, yeah. I was like, okay, does your boss ever have to call you outside of work? Well, sometimes. I was like, okay, great. Same. Sometimes things happen outside of business hours and I adjust. So, I said, now I do believe if I get an offer during dinner, I can call you after dinner. Is that okay with you? Yeah.
Yeah, sounds great.
It was almost like, she was like,
boundaries aren't bad.
Boundaries aren't bad. Again, boundaries and work ethic
are totally different.
Yeah, they are totally different and they can coexist. You can have both at the same time.
Yes.
I have a boundary that I am at dinner right now. Right. And my phone is over there.
Yeah.
After dinner, maybe I'll take a peek and make sure nothing is outstanding before I shut it off for the day.
Right.
If there's something time sensitive, I handle it. If not, I don't need to. But I just thought it was interesting that agent tried to use my boundaries.
Tried to sell you out with your boundaries.
Yeah. But anyway,
did you get the listing?
Got the listing.
Love that. Also because it's not realistic to tell sellers everything they want to hear. You will be able to reach me 24/7. Well, that is just a lie.
Yeah.
That is not the truth.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. You're not. There is some point in every day that you are not reachable.
When you were new, do you remember making statements like that?
No, never said, I'm available 24/7. Now, I don't know. Could have been on marketing. Who's to say? But I didn't that wasn't like a talking point.
Yeah.
But I think that we almost don't use it as a talking point. We more volunteer our time outside of our boundaries. I'm sure I did that. Oh, hey, new Mr. Buyer, I see that you have a job. So we can go look at houses after 5 and on the weekend. I never even tried the alternative.
Right.
I never even said, hey, what works for your schedule for showings? It's,
Yeah, you say.
I was like, we can go after 5 and on the weekend.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay me. It's totally fine.
I just do this for fun.
Just do this for fun.
When I was new, I was being given like a lot of advice because remember I was like 22 years old, but
you looked like you needed advice.
I looked like I was 15.
You're like, I have my MBA. I'm not a dummy.
Yeah. But I was trying to overcompensate for my age.
Right.
And so I was losing listing appointments early on. We just need someone with more experience, this and that. And Connie was like, lean into your strengths. You know, you have more time than most agents. You don't have children. You're not married. You can do whatever you want to do. And
Did you say you were available 24/7?
Oh, I went through like a brief period where I was like, you can always reach me.
I will live at your house if you want.
Yeah. Could I?
You can lock me.
Really expensive.
You can lock me in a closet with a computer and I will just be here.
I'll just be here in your pocket all the time. So then at one point I had like a marketing sheet or something. It's long gone. But I think it said like, if I miss your call, you will get a call within 10 minutes.
Wow.
Now, when I tell you how brief this stint was, do you remember the movie Remember the Titans?
Yeah.
And okay, they were winning. They were the champions. And this restaurant puts out this big sign that's like Titans eat free.
Mm-hmm.
And then it shows the whole football team showing up. Mm-hmm. And then it shows the owner running out and
changing the sign.
Taking the sign down like, no, never mind. Y'all eat too much. I'm poor now.
Yeah.
That's how I felt with that marketing sheet. It was like I did it for like 2 or 3 months and then quickly realized, no, this is not how I want to operate. This is not sustainable. Yeah. But here's the thing. You can still tell sellers, I'm flexible and available.
Yeah.
You don't have to say 24/7 or within 10 minutes or whatever. You know, you just say, I'm flexible and available. Real estate is this. So you don't use your boundaries as an excuse to not work.
Fair.
You have to work, especially right now. This is, in fact, a job.
Yeah. How about this? To succeed as an entrepreneur, you need the right approach. At the heart of your mindset, you need the 5 Ps.
Oh.
You know we love some alliteration over here.
Okay.
Persistence.
Yes.
Patience. Purpose. People. And profits. And I was like, yeah, you need all those things.
Without those 5 things, you have no business.
You have nothing.
No business at all.
But I like that it was persistence and patience. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to be consistent through times when it feels like it's not working.
Right.
You're going to have to be consistent through times when you don't feel like it.
Correct.
You're going to have to be consistent when your clients aren't being that nice to you. Mm-hmm. Like you're going to have to stay consistent because it takes time, which is where the patience comes in. Mm-hmm. Like it's going to take time for these clients to turn.
Yeah. I think it also takes a lot of humility to really honestly and truly evaluate yourself.
Yeah.
For example, let's, all you listeners out there, think of the last networking event that you went to. Maybe it wasn't even a networking event. Maybe it was something at the kids' school.
Yeah.
A baseball game that you were sitting at with other parents.
Yeah.
An event at the church, something that you were at where other people were there. Mm-hmm. Let's rate ourselves, okay? Did your face look nice? Or were you in a bad mood?
My face looked nice.
Great, okay. Like, were you sitting by yourself?
No, I talked to a couple of other moms.
Oh, good. That's so good. And then once you talked to other people, did you find a way after the event to maybe connect with them, like check if they have social media and make sure?
I should do that.
Yes. Okay. Yes, because here's the good news. You were face-to-face with them.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So they know your face now.
Right.
So making sure they're on social media. Mm-hmm. Now, here's the thing. If they are, friend them, follow them, whatever. If they're not, the next time you see that person, you need to be extra intentional and say, hey, I was going to follow you on Facebook after we chatted the other day.
But I didn't
see you. What's your number? In case.
Wow, you're so good at this.
Right. Yeah. It's just like we're attending things and we think we're working.
Okay.
But if you went and you got there late and you sat in the back and you didn't talk to anybody and you left, you might as well have not gone.
Okay, but so you're rated what at that point?
That would be like a 1
out of 10?
On a scale of 1 to 10.
Okay.
I give you like a 7.
Oh,
okay. You did a great job. If you would have
my follow-up wasn't there.
Yes.
Okay.
If you can get the follow-up there, you'll be a 10.
Okay, I love it.
So it's like we have to figure out what are we actually doing with our time.
Yeah.
Because one of the agents I talked to was saying, well, I do so much at the kids' school and the church and this and that I actually just don't have time to like give the real estate work the attention it needs. And I was like, you are like in the secret best position.
Yeah.
Because you have all the people around you all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Except the problem is they think you're a stay-at-home mom that doesn't work.
That volunteers for a living.
They don't even know that you do other things.
Yeah.
So how are we going to take the time that you have and the people you're around and make it more purposeful? So every time you go to an event, have a plan in place for what your goal is. Why are you even going to that? Do you want to talk to 3 people while you're there, make 3 connections, and then make it a goal to from request all 3 of those people after the event is over?
I liked, though, that you were rating us on 1 to 10. And you said earlier before we recorded that you're trying to improve your score.
Yes.
We're not going from a 1 to a 10.
And not every category will be a 10.
If you were like the wallflower, you never talked to anyone, you hated the fact that you were there and your face did not look approachable, you're not going straight to 10, 3 conversations with follow-up Facebook friends. We're now going to coffee.
Right.
This is not it.
No.
But you could go next time with your face looking where you're happy.
Just
smiling.
Smile.
Just smiling at people as they pass by.
Okay, I'm an extrovert. But that doesn't mean that if you're an introvert, you can't do this.
Right.
I have a friend that's an introvert, and her strategy is to go find another introvert.
Okay.
So she's looking to go sit next to someone that is sitting by themselves, not looking around, doesn't really look approachable, goes up to them and says, "Hey, is anybody sitting here?" She said, every single time I do that, there is a look of relief on their face.
Yeah.
And now you're sitting next to this person.
Right. And I would argue probably growing a deeper relationship,
Yes.
whereas an extrovert might be growing wider relationships because they're hitting a lot of people shallowly.
Yes.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, but if you get one really good, deep relationship, you may be having like a referral partner for life.
Yes, exactly. So I say that example also because sometimes people say, I just can't do that because I'm such an introvert. Maybe I shouldn't be an agent if I'm not good at talking to people. And it's like, no, there are spaces for you too.
Sure.
Like your vibe attracts your tribe.
Right.
I may make some introverts feel uncomfortable.
You're like, wow.
Wow, she's a lot. But the
she's so
introverts
chatty.
they appreciate, each other and having someone to sit by and, have you been in this group long? Do you often attend these meetings? How old is your kid we're here for?
I have a great example of this.
Oh, good.
So Ainsley is on the golf team right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
cute.
every time that she has a golf match, they pair you're in just like a 2, 3, 4 girls are playing in the same hole, right? So they're spread. It's not like she's with her teammates. Okay.
Right.
And they're spread out all over the course. You can't even see people around, much less talk to anyone except for the 2 or 3 people you're golfing with. Okay.
Yes.
So sometimes she'll come home kind of upset. And I'm like, well, how did it go? Oh, all right. I don't know. I'm like, did you talk to the other 2 people? No. Did you know their names? No. Do you know what school they went to? I don't remember. And I'm like, okay. Well, she's like, well, they didn't talk to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know. And you are probably one of the younger ones there. But next time, why don't we just try smiling and looking like you do want to talk to them? And then maybe even be like, hey, what's your name?
Yeah.
Where do you go to school?
Right.
Have you been playing golf long? I'm like, here's some go-to questions. Like, the more you ask people questions, they will talk.
Yes.
Then you're chatting.
I love that.
Then we're going from walking in silence for 9 holes of golf, which sounds terrible.
It sounds really terrible.
To maybe you make a connection, maybe you don't, but at least you're entertained or
small chat. Yeah.
So it's just like, it's not, everyone needs a reminder of how to make friends.
Yeah.
It's not, but it is not hard because if they're stuck in a situation with you and they're like being quiet, I'm sure they're just as bored.
Yeah.
You don't think they wanted to talk?
Like, they'll probably be so relieved.
She's like, they didn't talk to me. I'm like, well, you didn't talk to them.
Right. They're probably saying, well, she didn't talk to me. Someone's got to make the first move.
Nobody wanted to talk.
So how long have you been playing golf?
Right.
Something.
I'm like, I wasn't always good at this either. However, over the course of your life, you will find people probably do want to talk to you.
Yeah.
They're there where you are.
Our husbands listen to Jocko a good bit.
Right.
And Jocko actually has a kid's book that, of course, my husband got
cute.
my children. And his main piece of advice to them is smile and be brave.
Oh, that's really cute.
And so every time we go to an event, because I have to watch Haven because she has the RBF real bad.
Oh, no.
So when we go to new places,
Right.
it takes her a minute to warm up and then
Right.
she's good. But
Mhm.
I'm like, sis, we got to watch your face. No one's going to come
Just
talk
look
to you.
receptive.
Yes. Just smile. And I'll tell her, it's okay to be shy. You don't even have to talk, but we do have to smile.
Right. Look friendly.
Look friendly.
Just look like you want to talk to someone. You can look like you want to talk to someone.
Mhm.
Like, just smile.
Yes. But yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I've erroneously waved at someone I thought I knew.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean? Just
I am the worst at that.
I'm like, oh,
And then I'm like, shit,
okay,
I
well,
don't know you
whatever.
Sorry.
Sorry. Whoops. And then I'll see people, I'm like, I definitely know them, but I don't know how. And now I'm like, it's too, like, am I supposed to know?
Yesterday at swim lessons, this
Uh-huh.
girl was like, Alissa, hey, gives me a big hug.
Oh, no.
And I'm like,
Nothing.
and I said, I did the same thing. I was like, oh my gosh, hey, have y'all been coming here long? You know, da-da-da. She's like, well, we just started on Mondays. I'm like, awesome, we're Mondays too, da-da-da. So she leaves. Haven goes, who's that? And I
Couldn't
go,
tell you, sweetie.
I'm not really sure. She goes, you don't know who that was? I said,
you were like, I covered it up like a pro, right?
She was amazed.
Mom.
And I was like, well, she clearly knew me. And maybe it'll come to me later.
I just, right. Like, what's the connection?
Right. I said, but, you know, she was friendly.
I will
so
say
was friendly
this.
back.
As you get older, I think there's a point when you're just like, hey, I just remind me.
Yeah.
Like
this girl was really excited to see me. Definitely wasn't a client.
And a hug.
I know. That's why I was like, I can't ask her. I can't be like, why do I know you? Because you really know me.
You're going to have to go to the instructor and be like, who else is in the Monday class?
Yeah, who was that?
Oh, my word.
You know, you've shared before when you chose to get into real estate,
Mhm.
you did it because you wanted a job where you got compensated for the hours that you worked.
Yeah.
And I think that is such a great point. And we have also shared to our new agents, you know, it takes 1 to 3 years.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've even talked about how we think that might be 4 years now.
Yeah.
Where it takes about that long to start making real, sustainable,
Right.
regular money.
Mm-hmm.
But the clock doesn't start ticking until you're doing what you're supposed to be
Until
doing.
you work.
Until you work. So sometimes when I tell people that, they're like, well, I've been in real estate 5 years and I'm still not making any money. And I'm like, your clock hasn't started.
Yeah.
Just getting your license and
Right.
and sitting there doesn't count. You have to start today doing what you're supposed to be doing consistently.
Mhm.
And in 3 years, you should be making money. So the clock doesn't start
Right.
until you get it. And also, you get what you deserve in life and in business.
Yeah.
So what do you think you deserve?
Yeah, if you're not feeling like you're providing a value and actually doing any work, and so then you feel a little nervous. We just had this episode about this recently, about asking to be paid and like getting actually paid. Well, then it's time you up your game.
Yes.
What do you need to be doing? Like, if you literally don't know what you're supposed to be doing during
Mhm.
the course of a buyer or a seller transaction, I have great news for you. We have a checklist.
Mhm.
It just came out. You can go to the website and get it. And then you can see, oh, I see. This is what an agent does.
Yep.
From the very beginning, right before you actually go to look at houses with a buyer and before you list with the seller, all the way through closing.
Right.
And then you can be like, okay. And then when you're looking at the list, you can say, I don't actually know how to do this.
Yeah.
Then you go find the education you need for that thing
Mhm.
until you know how to do the whole list.
Right. I think that's great. Use it as an education checklist.
Yeah. Do I know how to do these tasks? Am I doing them with my current clients? If I knew how to do everything on here, would I suddenly be confident when I got a new lead? I'm going to spoil it for you. The answer is yes.
Yeah.
If
You'll feel a lot better.
If you know how to do everything on the checklist, you're going to be like, yep, I'm ready.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that when we start or when we don't have a lot of business, we don't even know what the checklist is.
Right.
We don't even know what the tasks are that we're supposed to be getting done.
Mm-mm.
I remember going into my broker's office with after my first buyer. I was referred a buyer. They've already found a house. They're writing a contract. I'm like, well, what do I do now? Like, what are the steps?
Mhm.
They don't teach you in school.
No.
They do not teach you in real estate school how to do the process.
But you'll know how many square feet are in an acre.
Well, fine. Or how not to go to jail.
Right.
Thank you, too.
Also important.
Okay. Did you want to share any of the helpful things that ChatGPT told us about? What would you put in there? Your notes?
What do you mean?
This. What is it a list of?
I have read through several.
You've hit your favorites?
I did hit my favorites. But this last one that I love, well, you don't, number 6.
I don't love it.
I love how it says, I didn't know if you had that page.
I do.
Success is a reflection of your effort.
Yeah.
I think it's very easy to look at a top producing agent in your market and think it's just easy for them. It's
natural for them.
Guess what, guys? It's not. Almost every other day I want to poke my eyeball out. Check on your top producing agent.
Yeah, it's rough.
Okay?
It's rough.
We're working a lot and it never ends. The education never ends. I feel like I'm always evolving with the times
and
with the laws,
and
forms,
with the public.
The public. I mean, everything changes so much.
This is not a career for people who have no adaptability.
No.
Because it's always changing.
Yeah.
But wait, what was that quote? You have shared it before. Hard work outperforms talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Yes.
Like when people think it's just, it comes natural to them.
Yes.
They're so good with people. If you put your mind to it and you work hard work outperforms talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Yeah. If I quit working today, I wish I could sacrifice myself to be an experiment, but I just can't do that. I'm sorry. But I wonder if I stopped today, everything I do, my database, going anywhere, I just hold up in my house, referred people as they came. Like, here's another buyer, Katie, you can have it. I wonder how long it would take for my phone to stop ringing.
A while. A long while.
Yeah.
Honestly. Because I would argue I kind of stopped it.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like I didn't leave the podcast. Yeah, it wasn't like I didn't leave the house, but I wasn't doing any active marketing. And I wasn't referring out a past client if they came to me, but I wasn't
seeking new business during that season. Yeah.
Right now I have like 7 transactions. Yeah,
you have a lot going on.
Like there's not, I didn't suddenly say, in 2025, I'm going to like have all the business. They're all past clients. Right. If you have a book of business that's a past client that even has the tiniest little ability to find you, they will come back to you whenever they're ready to sell.
Yeah.
And remember, now it's 10 years. So you would still be getting phone calls.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Potentially 10 years from now. If tomorrow you stopped.
Wow.
10 years from now, you could still be getting those calls.
Very interesting.
Yeah. That's why I say once you get on the train, it's almost like you can't get off.
So if you're one of those people looking for something to do to keep you going, if you don't have a database, I think that must be where you start. You really need to have all your people in one place, whether that's a spreadsheet. Just go listen to episode 9, database. I think you have to have a database before you have anything else, truly. Also, on this panel that I spoke on, they asked if you could have one key takeaway for our people today, what would it be?
Oh my gosh.
And one of the ladies said, we all come to these conferences and we take all these notes and we jot down all these ideas and things we tell ourselves we're going to do. And then we leave here and we return all of our missed phone calls and emails and we get sucked back into the grind of real estate and we don't do anything. She was like, pick 1 or 2 things, 1 or 2 key things that you can do that are simple enough for you to do where you're at.
Yeah.
Don't come and listen to all these panelists up here and say you're going to do everything all of these different people are doing.
Yeah.
Pick something and stick with it, whether it's a Monday morning meeting or I'm going to go to all the MLS classes that the board has to offer.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, like pick something that you can check off of a list.
And put on your schedule.
Put it on your schedule and don't plan anything else until what you have said you were going to do
is
done. Because that is where the fizzling new agents pop in, where they come in all excited and motivated.
Try a different thing.
But they fizzle. Don't fizzle. We got to keep it going.
It kind of reminds me of Go Giver. So we read The Go Giver in Book Club for Community. And the book's so good. So if you haven't read it, it's totally worth an audiobook listen. But part of the story is he's learning these 5 business principles on each day.
Yeah.
And as the mentor is teaching him, he's like, the only rule is if you don't apply this business principle today, you can't come back for the next lesson tomorrow.
Right.
So it was like, okay, well, I guess I'll try. And so he would learn whatever the business principle was on day 1. And he was like, well, I got to find a way to apply this today.
Yeah.
But the immediacy of action is really important.
So important.
When you're especially when you're learning something at a class, or even if you listen to an episode of the podcast and you're like, oh, that was good. That was good. Okay, fine. Well, turn it off and then do the thing.
Don't listen to the next episode until you implement
go
something.
do one thing.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So just be mindful. Be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
What are you doing with your time? Do you deserve business right now?
Right.
Are you prepared for business right now if somebody came along? I mean, we just need to really do some internal evaluation to make sure we're deserving.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure y'all are. Because y'all are listening to the podcast. So you're a step ahead
You are a step ahead.
So
tell your
Tell
friends.
your friends.
Please spread the word.
Spread the word, y'all. We need to save the realtor community one agent at a time.
That's right. Shall we do a toast?
Let's do a toast.
Okay, bye.
Hi, my name is Angie Likens, and I am from Flower Mound, Texas, and I am toasting the Hustle Humbly girls, Alissa and Katie, and I just want to say thank you to them, and they have been a super support, even though they don't know all of us out here. I have binge listened to everything, and then as I'm driving to an appointment or if something comes up, I'm always able to look and find exactly what I need, and their systems are amazing. So my toast is to them to even think of a way to support all of the real estate agents across the country. And so I just want to say thank you and a toast to them. Cheers.